Hello, I'm Dr. Ebgy. I am the founder of Lead On Training and Consultation, and I'm here to talk a little bit about how much leadership matters. So, we understand that we had citizens that decided that they would storm the Capitol building. Okay, so a coup occurred, and we understand that this was beyond unacceptable. But what I want to focus on today is just how important leadership is and how much it matters and how much it matters what leaders do. I have a favorite news show that I watch, and it's probably old to you all, but it's called Madam Secretary, and I love it. I've been like watching it whenever I get a chance to watch television, which isn't often, but whenever I get a chance to. In the last episode I watched, the president he was acting erratic. He was making a decision to basically start another war. And the Secretary of State and his right hand person, who really believed in his leadership and really believed in the way that he was leading, had to take a step back. And they went against him and said, no, that is unacceptable. That's not the right decision. And he was adamant. He fired someone and told the next person in line, you are now the person in charge and you will follow this order. They said, okay. He went to the point where he fired someone, and he said that he was the president and that he was the decision maker and that people were to follow his orders, and his new thing was everyone is to follow his orders. Well, they had to have a meeting, and they had to decide on whether or not they were going to use the 25th Amendment, what they were going to do. They came together against even how they felt about him as a person. They knew something was wrong. It wasn't right. It wasn't his leadership style, but most importantly, it was going to affect the country. And whether he was the president or not, he is an employee, right, that was going to make a very poor decision. Come to find out, after you watch the whole episode, he actually had a tumor that was pressing on his brain that was causing him to act erratic, that was causing him to talk the way he was talking and making the decisions he was making. But the point of that episode for me is while he was in leadership, he wasn't making the right decision. And it was important for those who were at the decision making table to step in and say, absolutely not. Whether you're the president, no matter who you are, we will not stand by and allow this to happen and affect our country in this way. And I felt like that really spoke to what occurred for us as a country. And that is, you have people who are at decision making tables who did not earlier on step in and say, we will no longer be a part of this. This is wrong. You are not making the right decisions. The language you're using is separating people, is not bringing us together as a nation. And they did not do that. That is an issue. So for us as leaders, what I want to say to you is who is at your decision making table? You've heard me ask this before. And part of my question about that is, okay, so you have these people at the decision making table. Are you having people who are just yes people? No matter what you do as a leader, no matter what you say, or are you a yes person? Are you just letting leaders make these very poor decisions that affect your organization, that affect our country, that affect our society, and you're standing by and standing back and allowing that to happen? But I believe as leaders, whether we're at the decision making table or we are the decision maker at that table, it is important that we understand that we have to know when to step in and say, this is unacceptable. I'm not okay with this, and this is why. If you are a leader that just want yes people at your table, I don't think that's a good decision. As a leader, one of the things I often say is if I am the smartest person at my table or at the table in which I sit at very often, I'm at the wrong table. I need people that's going to check me as a leader appropriately and professionally and say, Dr. Ebb, I don't think that that's a good decision, and this is why. We need people in leadership to say, this is unacceptable. It's discriminatory. It's separating us. It's unacceptable. And we will not stand by and say nothing and allow this to happen. The reason why we got to the point in which we got to, where people were able to storm the Capitol, is because the president, the leader, the top leader, said it was okay, basically, in some way. And because no one stopped him or stood in as they did on Madam Secretary before it even got to that point. That's vital. So leadership truly does matter. We're reading a book at the organization in which I work at. It's called Multipliers. It's a very good book. And what I want to say about this book and about what we're talking about is, well, as a multiplier, I want to make sure as a leader that I'm multiplying people who are actually going to say something, stand up, and actually step up in those leadership positions. Part of being a leader means I am going to say something. I'm going to do something. I'm not silent at the table. That's part of being a leader. So I encourage you to think about who is at your decision making table and to understand truly just how much leadership matters. It matters. We have to be conscious and careful about who we are choosing as our leaders, because they can be multiplying people who are not good for us or not good for your organization, or are they multiplying people who are truly good leaders? Just a little food for thought on this day. Until next time, lead on.